Hey there guys, it's Skipper Megan. If you are new to my channel, welcome aboard, and if you are returning, then welcome back. So this week, in honor of the loss of our Precious Wishes fireworks show and the beginning of the Happily Ever After show, I'm going to talk a little bit about fireworks and also parade etiquette and just a couple of tips about how you should go about viewing both of those kinds of shows. So the first thing that applies to both of them is you should probably plan on getting to a spot about an hour before the fireworks or the parade is going to start. If you want to have a really good spot, you want to take pictures and you want to be able to see all the floats and everything for a parade, make sure that you're getting there about an hour at least before the parade starts. So for Festival of Fantasy, you're going to want to be there by at least 2 o'clock, maybe even like 1:30, 1:45-ish, because that's a very popular parade. Everyone knows the 3 o'clock parade. So if you want to make sure that you have a good spot, then you're going to want to get there very early. Otherwise, you're going to end up not really being able to see much of the floats. You might not be able. You'll be able to see the tops of them. You'll be able to hear the music, of course, from basically anywhere in the park. But you're not going to be having a spot to sit. You're not going to be in the shade. You're not going to have any of the primo kind of spots for those parades. Same thing goes for the fireworks show. You want to get there a little bit early. It's not as important for the fireworks because they're fireworks. They're going to be up in the air. So it's not like it's going to be at eye level necessarily. You can look up from basically anywhere and see the fireworks. The only difference is the projections that are going to be on the castle. You are going to want to be able to kind of have a good view of that. So if there's someone who's really tall in front of you, you're going to have a little bit of an obstructed view there. But I wouldn't worry too much about getting there, 2 hours before the fireworks just so that you can have a good spot, unless you are there to specifically film them or take pictures that you really need to be very clear and very good. Then you're going to want to be there ahead of time so that you can get a good spot and get set up. But just a general rule, about an hour before showtime is when you want to show up. Now, if you choose not to show up an hour beforehand, you don't really care what your spot is. You don't need to have perfect sight line. That's fine. You are perfectly welcome to show up at whatever time you want. You can show up in the middle of the show if you want. But the only thing is, do not stand in front of anyone who has been there for all of that time. There's nothing more frustrating as a guest than if you have been standing there, getting your spot, you're ready to go, you've been there for an hour and a half, the parade starts, and someone comes and stands in front of you. Yeah, it's not fun. You might have heard that there was a woman who allegedly choked a girl because that happened to her. She came and stood in front of her, and that lady was so frustrated that she tried to choke a high schooler who stood in front of her. So never underestimate just how upset you can make someone by standing in front of their view of the parade or the fireworks. So just be polite, be courteous. If you don't really care about your spot and you don't need to be in the perfect spot, maybe someone else does. So don't stand in front of them, stand up to the side, stand behind them. Like I said, especially for the fireworks, you're going to be able to see them from pretty much anywhere. So just find a clear spot and stand there. Don't ever stand in front of someone. Now, if you have kids are a little bit harder as far as finding spots because they don't really want to stand up. They're going to want to sit. If they're not in strollers, they're going to get tired and they're not going to want to stand still for all that time waiting for a spot. So try to get there early and go ahead and find a spot where you can sit down. And if you don't get there that time, if you don't want to have to wait with kids and you do want to just kind of show up at showtime and then say, okay, here we go, and then leave because that's all the patience that they have at that point, that's fine too. If you want the children to be able to see a little better, 9 times out of 10 you'll be able to say, excuse me, can my kids stand in front of you? And a lot of times people are going to say absolutely, of course, because I'm short but a 6-year-old is shorter most of the time. So if someone's kids can't see and they're standing behind me, I'm more than willing to let them stand in front of me so that they can see a little bit better. Just do not put your children on your shoulders if you just roll up at showtime, or even if you've been there for a long time. I know that it's frustrating if your child can't see, but all you're doing then is blocking even more people's views behind you. If you put your child on your shoulders, then all they are going to have is a view of your child, and I'm sure they're adorable, but that's not what they're there to see. Some options for positioning. If you do want your kids to be on your shoulders, stand all the way up against some of the railings around the hub in front of the castle. Don't ever put your children on the railings. Cast members are constantly circulating to tell you to not sit on the railings, not stand on the railings, don't put your kids on top of trash cans. Although the trash cans are a very good spot to stand because Disney trash cans don't smell because they are cleaned and emptied so frequently, and people for some reason just have a stigma of don't stand anywhere near a trash can, but you can do it at Disney. And so a lot of people are just like, oh, we don't want to stand near a trash can. So there's always a little bit of space around trash cans. So if you want to have a kind of clear space and not be shoulder to shoulder with everyone, find a trash can, because most of the time they're pretty clear and you can just lean up on it and you don't ever smell any trash because they're so clean. For parades specifically, try to get a spot, unless you desperately want to see the parade from Main Street, in front of the castle, from the hub. If you don't need that particular view, see the parade from Frontierland, because that's where most of the parades come in, and you're going to get to see them. They will go by and then you can leave. Because if you are standing on Main Street and the parade starts in Frontierland, it's not going to get to you. If it starts at 3, it's not going to get to you until close to 3:30. So that's even more time that you're sitting there just to see it show up. And then you have to see the whole thing go by. So if you're in Frontierland, you can get a good spot there, you can see it, and then you can leave, and you can go ahead and go be doing some other stuff, while some people haven't even seen the beginning of the parade yet. So that's where we always try to sit, is in Frontierland. One year we were like, oh, we'll sit in Liberty Square because we found a nice spot on a wall. Liberty Square is the surface of the sun. Do not sit there for more than 15 or 20 minutes waiting for a spot, because it is so hot. We actually got up and left, and we went and sat. There's a couple of benches in the shooting gallery in Frontierland, completely shaded. You're not right up in front of the parade, but you can see it perfectly well. The music is playing right there near you, so you can hear everything really, really well, and you can see everything that goes by. Plus, you're in the shade. So that was a great place for us that I'd never even considered, because the only downside is you do hear off to the side, you do hear the sounds of all the little guns shooting if people are in there using the shooting gallery at that time. But it wasn't that big of a distraction for us. But anytime that there is a parade, try to see it in Frontierland, because you're going to be able to see it first. Just a general tip as far as parades specifically go, but also sometimes fireworks, if it is a really, really busy time of year, they will have 2 shows. So if there are 2 shows, go to the later one, because there's going to be way fewer people at that one. Back when Main Street Electrical Parade was around, hopefully we get another nighttime parade soon. If they have a show at 11 o'clock, go to that one. I have seen it where in Frontierland, again, some of the parade characters would actually be dancing and interacting and talking to guests on the sides, because there were so few people. And you can kind of get one-on-one pictures even sometimes, because the parades are moving pretty slowly. So if you want to get a really good view, especially of nighttime parades, make sure that you go to the second one if it's offered. Just a couple of rules for just general etiquette and polite behavior in these fireworks and parade shows. Don't talk during the show. Maybe you want to whisper something real quick to someone, that's fine. But don't just be yelling and talking and singing along super, super loud. Everyone's going to sing along with the fireworks. We get it. That's fine. But don't be so distracting and so loud that you are going to interfere with the experience of everyone around you. And don't yell. So if you are going to say something, make sure that it's kind of quiet. Make sure that it's not going to, like I said, interfere with anyone else. And one of the main things is with your photos and your videos. We know that you're going to want to take pictures and videos of these fireworks, especially in the parades. It's a really great photo op. Everyone really likes to do that. Don't use an iPad. If you have a camera, use that. If you have a phone, use that. A lot of phones take super, super awesome video and pictures, so there's really no need for an iPad, unless that is absolutely the only thing you have. And if it is, don't hold it up in the air. Hold it right here. And especially if you have a case that folds open, don't hold it up in the air like that. No one can see anything behind you. So if you have to use an iPad, hold it down, hold it in front of you so that you're not obstructing views. You can tilt it up so you can see fireworks. If you can see it with your eyes, your iPad can see it from right here. So there's no need to hold it up in the air and block the view of 15 people behind you just so that you can get a view. Because if everyone did that, no one would be able to see anything. One of the most important rules to follow with any parade or fireworks show is stay in the marked areas and keep pathways clear. You are going to see, especially at nighttime for the fireworks, you're going to see cast members with little lightsaber looking wands, and they're going to be directing you. They're going to tell you, keep this path clear, keep moving, don't stop here. If you see a taped off area, don't stand outside of that taped off area, because it's for your safety, first of all, to keep you away from parade vehicles that could be harmful if you get in their way. And also just to keep traffic flowing. A lot of people always say, oh my gosh, there's so many people in this park. What if something happens? We won't be able to get out. You will, and that is why they want to keep those pathways clear, so that people can keep moving. And if people don't want to stay for the fireworks and they just want to get out of the park, they can do that. So if you are trying to leave and you say, oh man, we really want to see this, and you stop in the middle of the walkway, and the cast member says, excuse me, I need you to keep moving, don't get mad at them. That's their job. Their only job right now is to keep that pathway clear. So just don't get frustrated with them if they ask you to do that. Make sure that you are just following those very simple rules. If you decide, hey, you know what, we really do want to see this, find a spot that is within that taped off area, outside of those walkways that they're trying to keep clear, and just find yourself a space at the back, and you'll be able to see. So I think that's it. Basic etiquette for viewing parades and fireworks. If you have any tips for where you like to see the fireworks or the parades, let me know down below. And also, let me know, are you happy that there's something new going on? Do you miss wishes? Did you cry with me during the live stream on Thursday night? Let me know, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye, y'all.